Traveling post-surgery, am I right? Hey fam, I'm Holly. Welcome to my channel, Lipedema. In this video, I'm going to help you plan a travel wardrobe for that inevitable first trip post-lipedema surgery. And by the end of this video, you're going to have 7 solid outfits that are compatible with what is a pretty rough looking post leg surgery configuration where you've got lots and lots of swelling and you need to wear layers of compression. You'll also know my go-to compression base layer and all of my must-haves to literally keep your swelling under wraps, mitigate the appearance of or reappearance of seromas, because I definitely have been struggling with one on my thigh, and then help you look your best despite layers and layers and layers of compression and probably worry as well. So, all right, so let's get into it. Planned this trip to Tampa for mid-April, long before I knew that my surgery was going to be at the end of March. I was pretty certain that the April trip would happen before my surgery date, and then boom, some space opened up in the hospital OR schedule, and there we were. So also, if I'm honest, I was pretty cocky going into surgery. Like, I kind of felt like, oh, that's 2 weeks later and I'll be fine to travel by then. Well, not so much. Basically, when the travel dates actually rolled around, I was coming off my day 10 depression, and there's a video on that here, and kind of wondering if I was going to destroy my liver with the lab rat quantities of Tylenol that I was taking to keep the pain in my legs kind of under control. So honestly, it felt pretty grim, and my boyfriend told me, 100% you don't have to go, because he knew that I really wanted to go, but also that I was in some rough shape. See, what had happened was I think I started seeing myself only in terms of basically my post-surgical progress. And so for anyone who is in that same sort of post-surgery like doldrums, my number one key takeaway here is don't forget the badass that you are, because that definitely happened to me. Surgery does not define you, nor the limitations or the constraints that you see post-surgery, right? Like, that stuff is going to pass, and then you're going to be right back to your kick-ass self like pretty soon. So also listen to your favorite music, workout music, right? Because I feel like the music that made you feel like super pumped up in the gym, even if you can't get out of the chair you're in without assistance post-surgery, it kind of helps you like remember just who you really are under all of that compression. So that's my number one tip to you, and I want you to take that one to heart. Okay, cool. Here are my top 3 must-haves in addition to the base layer of compression. So I'll share with you some pictures that show what my base layer looks like. I'm wearing that now. In fact, I'll have to show you some of my, this is what you see on my work video, and then there's the party on the bottom, which is a lot of compression, and sometimes it looks a little bit like a Mexican wrestling outfit. So I'll be sure to throw in a picture for that as well. But top 3 things that I think are absolute must-haves. One of them is this. It's like an ace bandage. It's an elastic band. It starts to look a little more like this after you've used it a few times. But the reason that it's so helpful is that you can wrap them. So you can use them to wrap your legs. And they also have a little bit of Velcro on there, so you can really get it tight, and it goes pretty flat. So even when you have things like my number 3 that I'll show you, my spare legs I like to call them, it's actually still pretty comfortable. They come in a container that is, I got one that was like 4 rolls, and I got the 6-inch ones. Sorry, it was 12 rolls and 6 inches. For each roll, and I love them. Latex free, super simple. Got them on Amazon. I'll put the links in below so you can find the things that worked for me. Not that you have to use this version of it, but this is what helped me. I found that 6-inch size to be really, really good, to be able to give me the flexibility that I needed to get around like my knee, etc. And I really do think it helped with skin adhesion when it came to the knee area. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be sports tape, and this was, I think, really key for me to compress my seroma, but also to avoid dents and other like loose skin issues from compression, like where the compression is like digging in, your skin is loose, and then the skin ends up taking the form of whatever that indentation was. So this will kind of hold your skin where you want it to be for when all of the swelling stops and you can stop wearing that compression. My MLT therapist actually swears by this. She's the one that turned me on to it, and I used it after I had to get the second aspiration for my seroma on my thigh. So basically, I just took this one out, and I used the tape. This is the same kinesiology tape that you'll see. I used this tape to like pull across, straight across in horizontal layers, like so parallel to the ground, where the area was that she had removed all of that fluid from my seroma, like another 90 cc's that we had to get taken out right before this trip. And then this tape is actually, this version is from Curad. It is water and sweat proof, supposedly, so it withstands it. They don't actually say proof on there, but they say it withstands it. And I can definitely say that I showered with this bad boy on. And then I used that under a layer of, I put it on my skin, then I put on my base layer of compression, and then I used the wrap on top of that so that I could really get some targeted compression in that area and keep it under compression 24/7. So I personally think it was a game changer. My MLD therapist is also really encouraging that tape to hold up skin above my knees where I had that really sort of fibrous lipedema fat removed, and also across my arm area. I'll try and throw in a picture of that where my lipedema fat was removed. And I think, I'm sure you could probably try it with your thighs as well, or anywhere that you have loose skin. Just kind of hold it where the ideal situation for that skin is, and then that way you can avoid kind of baking in any imperfections, if that makes sense. Cool, cool. And so I think number 3 is probably my most embarrassing, but honestly, like super helpful. And I will call those my spare legs. So I'll bring these over here for you. They are looking crazy right about now, but these are my compression legs. So they are they're basically compression sleeves that go on your legs, and this might seem obvious, but it was literally just a whim that made me even buy them. Some people I think have them from prior to surgery just for their regular lipedema management, but I never owned them, and I didn't think that they would honestly work, right? I kind of bought them out of desperation when I was feeling really, really rough, about a week or so after surgery. And I asked of course, before I asked my MLD therapist and also my doc if it was okay. And I have to say, like, the proof is in the number of times that I strapped these bad boys on, because while I was traveling, I used them at least 4 times a day, and I found them to be sort of very, very soothing and helpful. Fun fact, we were visiting family members who were older and had general swelling in the legs, and they tried them on and loved them as well. So we ended up getting them and gifting them another set of my little spare legs. So, and then I wanted to say, like, when it comes to traveling, I had a lot of anxiety about like how I would be able to manage it all. And I think the worst part of traveling was probably just having to have my clothes on all day, because that's not something that I've been doing. And I would say being on my feet or even just sitting sort of in a chair, like while we're doing activities, having chats, eating dinner, and feeling that swelling progress, like being mindful that it was happening, that was a little rough. I was also sort of kind of always trying to figure out like how much swell payback there was going to be for every activity that I elected to participate in. Like I didn't go fishing with everyone because I felt like that was just going to be on my legs for too much. But we did go out to kind of see the manatees. Spoiler alert, we didn't see any that day, but to go out and be waterside, to go out to have dinner, like it was really a good time, which of course brings me to the best part of traveling. And honestly, it was, of course, seeing the people that you love, but also really seeing how much they actually care about your comfort. Because it's really easy to forget. Like, after a while, you kind of get to this point where it's kind of a little pity party, where only you were invited. So it was helpful to get out of my own head about how ridiculous I felt wearing all this crazy stuff, and just feeling very unlovable, if I'm honest. So I liked it. I had a great time. It was nice to put on clothing that I felt really good in, and to feel the sunshine and warmth on my skin. And I realized kind of that all the extra walking was actually making me feel better, and that's a big edit, I think, like compared to what I thought I would feel going in. So I would basically just double up my compression for an outing, enjoy the time out, and then come back and use my spare legs to kind of move that fluid around, to get it out of my legs, out of my feet, which are again like these crazy big sponges at this point, and then play cards, eat, chat, do all the things, all while remembering like really being intentional about getting up, walking around every hour or so, and then taking the time to use my spare legs for about 15 minutes or so every few hours. And I have to say, now this was a trip that was only about 2 hours on the plane, so be mindful you need to get up and walk while you're on the plane. I literally set a timer from the second that I sat down in the seat for 1 hour. So every time that timer went off, I got up, walked a lap, did some movements in place. That was per my doctor's orders. And we did talk very extensively before I took the trip about how long we could go. As an example, we had initially been planning on going for a slightly longer trip to LA, and we actually canceled that one based on what the doctor's recommendations were and the fact that I was going to need to get up to walk so much more on that one. It was just going to be a lot tougher of a trip. But this trip to Tampa ended up being about 2 hours and was really doable. And I appreciated having that timer set to get up and walk. So that's another tip for you. Set the timer because time passes a lot differently than you think it will, like in your head. All right. So those are the things that I would 100% recommend that you pack for comfort and swelling, just to mitigate, right? And if you have a seroma, do try the tape. I think it was a game changer for me. I call it magic. And I'll put the links below in case you need kind of help finding them. But just reminder, again, like it doesn't have to be these exact things, but look for similar things that are going to help you in your situation. That's the big question, right, that I was trying to answer going into this was, what the heck do you wear on a warm weather destination that can camouflage the fact that the entire lower half of your body is basically swaddled in various forms of compression? Oh, and by the way, it's 2 times its normal size, which was already kind of big proportionately, right? So I will let voiceover Holly kind of walk you through all the pictures that I have for you. And again, I just want to remind you, you are more than your recovery. So hang in there. It's going to get easier. It's going to get better. You are a badass and you are going to feel amazing in just a few more days. If you're kind of in that swell hell now, I promise you it gets better. So I hope you enjoy these outfit pics, and I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.
I know I showed you this earlier, but just another reminder, try not to take yourself too seriously during this, because this is a great example of how it looks when you're on your video calls at work, but you secretly know you have all of this ridiculous action going on underneath that can make you feel less than. So just know that you're gonna get over it. It's gonna go away and you'll be back to your amazing self before you even know it. But here's a good example. This is what my base layer looked like most days when I was traveling. These are my spare legs that I absolutely loved. Reaffirmation on these, you definitely want to pick them up to help with your recovery. And this is that close-up shot of my arm where I used the sports tape to help me, and I'm in the process of doing that to help me make sure that I don't bake in the imperfections from my liposuction, especially since I wore arm compression for most of the time there. So I'll let you know any pictures that I get that kind of show the progression of that over time, and I'm hoping it's going to be really good. Now onto the fun stuff. So these are my post-surgery wardrobe picks. So this was a 4-day trip to Tampa, and of course I had my base compression. I had 2 suits with me. I had my spare legs and tons of Motrin and the unmentionables that you can't see, and I'm not going to show you in this video. But what you could see was this 1 pair of sandals. I had 2 wrap dresses. I had 4 pair of pants in a mix of sort of solids and kind of loud patterns. 2 shoulder wraps in white and tan, 2 cute shirts that somehow both ended up being white, but very cute, and 3 tank tops, 1 white, 1 pink, and 1 brown to go with that really loud pair of pants. Up close and personal on these shoes, I loved these shoes. They're a really easy sandal to wear that I could wear with open toe compression, so my toes were out and it didn't look like I had all that action going on underneath. And even though that zipper, which was key to like give me all the space I needed for my mummy wraps and everything else, they couldn't zip back up. But if I'm honest, they couldn't zip up before my surgery either because I still had the swelling. Okay, outfits 1 and 2. I loved these wrap dresses. You see all of that action going on underneath them, so that was happening in every single outfit. But I'll show you a picture at the end so you can really see me like in the wild how it looked. And it was the same pair of shoes for 4 days, but I probably only wore them about an hour or 2 each day. So one of these dresses in the orangey color and then the other one in the blue. Outfit number 3 had the same shoes, but I had these cargo pants that kind of had like a jean feel to them. And then I had this great little wrap which helped kind of camouflage where I was wearing the compression on my arm. And honestly, it was so cute. It worked great with the brown tank top too, so I could switch it up if I wanted to. Outfits 4, 5, and 6, same shoes again, but I either wore my funky Maui pants that I love, or I kind of switched it up too with a couple of different top options that I had that both went with the pants. And then then I had another set of cargo pants, and then these flowery pants that felt very chic actually when I wore them. I wore them back on the plane. And then outfit 7, I gotta tell you, these pants aren't for everyone, but they hated seeing me coming. I felt so cute in these, and they had these little holes in them, so it kind of felt like you had air conditioning in them. And that top on the right there, oh my gosh, I love that shirt. I found it on Temu. I'll look for a link. I'm not sure it's still there, but I felt so cute in this outfit. It made me so happy. And then here's proof. There's me out in the wild, not seeing any manatees at all, but with my loving boyfriend, and just having a really good time and feeling super normal and happy. And I wish you the same. Thanks.